What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the commentary version of the full stack video. And I'm mainly separating the two because in the full stack I usually am going through what is actually in the stack, but I want to talk more about what's behind the stack and what the thought behind it is. As you go through my stack and watch my video, you'll kind of see the influences I have from different YouTubers and who I start binge watching. From the Britannias and Numistacker over to YPS and Silver Slacker to the Pandas and WAF Dog and EQ Gold, wherever you are, hope you're doing well. Take care, brother. To JM and Engelhard for the vintage guys like Stackmaster G, Big Stack McGee, and some of the other vintage guys like Silver Hustlin', who love them wafflebacks. Even from the point when I first started, when I was heavy into lunars, I was influenced by Still Keeping One. Wherever you are, man, hope you're doing well as too, because ultimately these guys all helped influence my stack. And when I've developed as a stacker and collector, I've kind of navigated my way, and as I changed my style or evolved, I bought and sold some things, I held other things, I just kind of got rid of right away. Honestly though, the way my stack has been built is when a new release comes out, I research that release, I come across some videos. For instance, the Lunar Roosters are coming out, and now I'd be researching all about lunars, and I would come across Still Keeping One, Silverfish VT, Silver Nut FL, and all these guys that have done videos on the topic. Now, after a little bit more experience and time stacking, collecting, and understanding a bit more what I'm looking for, I'm a bit more knowledgeable in what I'm willing to spend my premium on. Because some coins are worth the added premium, other coins you want to watch out when you spend your premium. Because you'll get most of it back, but you might not get all of it back. It's really a feel game. And guys like Silver New Jack, which I highly recommend, check out his channel. He's very good at that. One of the coins that I remember when I was first watching his channel, he spotted some coins, the dirhams, the $10 dirhams with a beautiful design, where he was able to pick it up at a good price and able to turn it around. And that really influenced my flipping strategies, because he showed me how to take 1 ounce and turn it into 2 or 3 ounces or more. And when I come across channels like Losing Louie, who also did the same thing, and even Lady Liberty Stacker, these all influenced particular portions of my stacking style. And there was a chat that I just got out of with Silver Hair Gamma where we all are kind of in the same community, and because we watch each other's videos, we're influenced by each other. At first, I didn't know what to buy. I research and look around to see what other people are getting. Then I make a decision. Now I know a little bit more, and then eventually there's going to be more people who come across this video. And if you're new, the times are going to change, the trends are going to change. Make sure you're keeping up to date. And if you aren't, then be careful with where your premium dollars are going. So when I buy and sell, I'm really trying to discover what I like and what I don't like. Because if I can sell it, it means that I don't really like it too much, right? Or if I sell it and I regret it, I can probably get it back later, hopefully at a cheaper price. Or I at least know what the price is because of that. So it's ultimately an exercise of letting go and market dynamics. It's a 2-for-1. Because people naturally have a tendency to resist letting go. Whatever it is, since this is all just more stuff, it's just a different form of stuff, and whether we accumulate it or sell it, it doesn't really matter in the long run. It doesn't really do anything. It's just a different form of something that gives us the same amount of pleasure that another person values. To me, in the long run, all of this eventually has to be converted into another form of currency or something else. Because otherwise, what good is it that where it does nothing? Hopefully, it appreciates as an investment, but that's only as a protection. Aside from that, I just look at it as a little safety net because I will go into a little bit more description. When I started that business, I just got out of college, started a job, met up with some guys. We decided to break off, start a company. It was their company. I invested in it. I had very little say, but I was the first employee, and I learned a lot of things from that company because I had no say. I tried to change the direction multiple times and decided at some point I had to just leave my investment behind. And at the time, it was in the tens of thousands of dollars. And for coming out of college, that's pretty much my life savings. And I just had to let it go in order to move forward because another opportunity presented itself. And when I did that, a lot of doors opened up for me. At the time, it was difficult to leave because I had recruited a lot of friends to work there. I had hired a lot of people, and I was in a senior position. But it didn't feel right. I couldn't change certain aspects, and I wasn't being heard. My voice wasn't being heard. So rather than just kind of live with it, I decided to make a change and go somewhere where I would be listened to. And that gave me a form of independence, and it also helped me to trust my judgment. When I made the decision to move, I was able to work with some other people who had a different set of skills that were at a higher level. I didn't know it at the time, but I did trust the person that recruited me. And that turned out to be one of the best decisions that I made because it moved me out of where I was. It changed my environment completely. And I was able to learn a lot of things from being so close to people who were significantly smarter than me. And by listening and being in close proximity, I was able to pick up a lot of their, I guess, insights. Anyways, by changing my environment and my way of thinking, I was able to pick myself up and prosper a bit more. Luckily, with the people that I had worked with in the past, my relationships with them were pretty solid, and I'm still very good friends with a lot of the people that I've worked with before. A few of the things that I learned along the way was when things go bad and you have to shrink the company from 135 down to 60 and pretty much cut it in half, it's pretty stressful, especially when you don't make what you're supposed to at the end of every month and you're burning cash. At the same time, when it's good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And how to deal with it, and more importantly, how to stay calm and get through the tough times in order to get to the better times ahead. Because things can be fixed, you just have to make some changes. And if you see, this is one of the main reasons why I buy and sell a lot and change my stack up so often. And that could be a negative in some ways, but for now it's working. I just find it good to be agile and move around. For me, in my experience, anytime you stay the same way for too long, you end up getting left behind, especially in technology. Now, this might not apply to a lot of people because it's just the way that my industry works and the way I've been conditioned. So the frequency I move things around is not necessarily normal for a lot of people, but for me, it's normal and a bit habitual. Some people are perfectly fine with just buying one thing over and over for a year, where it's very difficult for me. When metals jump up and down like they do, I always feel an urge to kind of compensate for it because that's just what I would do in my normal life. But it's not entirely necessary, nor is it correct. It's just a habit. So it's good to try to understand what your own kind of habits are when you stack to see how you can stack more or how to grow it or what you can change in your life to kind of help yourself do what you want to do a bit better. I've talked with some people lately, and stacking is a very personal thing. I think I've said it before, so you really have to find your style, find what you like. The way you get started is usually the way you start going very heavy in the beginning. And then once you do that, you instantly change because it just gets tiring. So if you start as a stacker, most likely you'll get into collecting. If you start as a collector, somewhere down the line, you'll probably start stacking. It's just the way it goes. So my stack sort of reflects that kind of mentality where you'll see things in groups where I start getting into something, I really get into it, and then I stop, I get into something else. But that's just me because I don't need too much of anything. I just want a little bit of everything. A jack of all trades, master of none. But that's kind of been my problem and strength at the same time. Anyways, I really wanted to discuss goal setting and also mention that it took me 7 years to get through college. So if you think that I just was naturally inclined to go this way, it's not the case. I really struggled in the beginning and failed out my first year of college. And it took me a few years to recover before I really made that mental change. And it's the same thing for stacking. For a while, I was just spending, and then all of a sudden, I had a mental change. Something clicked, and I just decided to change my habits. And I think one thing that we all share in the precious metals community is that we remember our very first piece and how we got it. That very first piece is always a catalyst. And then after that, it's just setting goals weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, whatever. It's just once you set goals and you start hitting them, you start getting into a rhythm, and the goal hitting milestones just keep knocking them down one at a time. And when you fail, it's all right. You're still making forward progress and keep going. Like, I don't know what my stack is at now, but I've passed every goal I've set. So it's just good to have a goal that it's an achievable goal, but not too easy, not too hard. The goal should be constantly pushing you forward and progressing. So when I look at this stack and I look at my other stack, I'm pretty amazed at what I was able to accomplish over a lot of little milestones hit over a period of time. I hope that my videos show more than just the stacking, but really emphasize the journey on how to build little by little, little incremental steps, and end up with something that you can be proud of. And I'm pretty proud of this accomplishment. For me, I'm definitely amazed, and I've pushed myself pretty hard. But now I'm gonna take a pause for this and then try to focus my energy on another area of my life, which is why I was mentioning about some of that. Is I get in and out of things, and then I really want to focus my efforts into building something that I can be proud of. Definitely one of my longer videos, but I hope it was useful. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.